Hello, everybody. This is Allie Mitchell, and I'm doing my presentation on immigration enforcement. I'll be telling you about my supporting view as well as the opposing view. And I apologize in advance. I tried very hard to get the software where I could do the webcam as well as the recording of the screen at the same time, and I just have a very old computer and it would not work. So this is the way that I'll be doing it today. Supporting view. Immigration enforcement is costly. Immigration enforcement has cost the U.S. $324 billion since its creation of ICE in 2003. In February 2019, after the longest government shutdown in history, 35 days, Congress reached a deal with the president, offering $1.375 billion for 55 miles of fencing along the Rio Grande Valley. The president expressed his dissatisfaction with this offer and, shortly after signing the bill, declared a national emergency to fund his border wall through other means. In addition to the $1.375 billion that had already been allocated for fencing, he will pull $600 million from the Treasury Department's Drug Forfeiture Fund, $2.5 from the Department of Defense's Drug Interdiction Program, and $3.6 billion from the Department of Defense's Military Construction. An additional $1.5 billion in Department of Defense funds were transferred in May 2019. Supporting view continued. Immigration enforcement causes unnecessary emotional stress for those who live in constant fear of deportation, regardless of actually being considered illegal. Fear of deportation and its relationship to emotional well-being and health care compliance. Documented and undocumented participants in all groups reported feelings of anxiety and hopelessness resulting from the ever-present fear of deportation. In some cases, this led to avoidance of care. Opposing view. What is ICE and ERO? ICE Enforcement and Removal Operations manages and oversees the nation's civil immigration detention system. ICE detainees placed in ERO custody represent virtually every country in the world, various security classifications, both genders and medical conditions, ranging from healthy to terminally ill. Non-U.S. citizens who are apprehended and determined to need custodial supervision are placed in detention facilities. Those who are released from secure custody constitutes ERO's non-detained docket. Every case, whether detained or non-detained, remains part of ERO's caseload and is actively managed until it is formally closed. Opposing view continued. This is a short video from ICE.gov, and it is detailing a removal flight to El Salvador.
A journey for many Salvadorians who have come into the United States illegally and have somehow been apprehended by the federal government, either through entering the country between a port of entry or having been picked up in the interior of the United States through one of the enforcement programs that Immigration and Customs Enforcement operates. But they've since been taken into custody, and we took them on a flight from Harlingen, Texas, back down to San Salvador, El Salvador today. And what we demonstrated was the capability for ICE to use a chartered airplane with ICE flight crews and contract flight members to safely and securely move these nationals back to their country of origin.
Well, the main thing that's unique about this flight is that we have with us the El Salvador delegation. We have the head of Immigration Service for El Salvador. We have the Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs. We have the Charge who represents El Salvador citizens in Washington, D.C. And then you also have a group of other members that are ICE on this flight. I think that on today's flight, what is a precedence is that we have the delegation and myself and members from my staff flying on the plane, being able to show the El Salvadorian government the professional and humanitarian way that we repatriate their citizens.
For many of the detainees, it's the first time they've ever been on an airplane, whether it's a commercial aircraft or a government chartered aircraft, to go back home. So it's a new experience for them, and it sort of completes the journey they had. Regardless of how they enter the United States, they get to go back home very safely, very securely.
ERO arrested 158,581 aliens, 90% of whom had criminal convictions, pending criminal charges, or previously issued final orders. The overall arrest figure represents an 11% increase over fiscal year 2017. Opposing view continued. Immigrants cost the U.S. taxpayers too much money. Immigrants are more welfare dependent than the most frequently quoted statistics indicate, and far more welfare dependent than the population at large. If one looks at the data from the Census Bureau's Survey of Income and Program Participation, one finds that 46% of households headed by an immigrant resort to welfare in some form versus 27% of households headed by an American.